Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're reviewing Pokemon Sword for the Nintendo Switch. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Apologies if there's anything going on with my voice. I've been quite sick. I've also had like 2 nights with about an hour's sleep because I've been trying to complete Pokemon. So yeah, I sound funny. So what did I think of Pokemon Sword? I played through Sword. I didn't get Shield. I got Sword because my boy Bamproof wanted that Ponyta, so I wasn't going to deny him that. But what do I think of it? Well, where do you start when you review a game this big? I'm going to start with Dexter. Yep, said we don't do politics on my channel, but Dexter isn't Brexit, alright? Dexter is a problem for me, personally. I'll get onto it later on, but basically, the thing with Dexter for me was, when Game Freak said there's only going to be 400 Pokemon, but it didn't even specify it was 400, it said over 300, I believe. I was like, okay, that's fine, you can do that, I don't mind. I can live with you only putting 400 Pokemon in the game if the game is awesome, if the game is long, if the story is good, if everything about the game is fantastic. I can live with a few Pokemon being missing, so you can spend time on making these other things good, making the textures beautiful. And I was ready for Dexter. I wasn't moaning about it too much before the game came out. I was prepped. I was like, okay, there's not going to be all the Pokemon, but I'm going to deal with it. We're just going to have a game. There's going to be all the Pokemon. Now, the first problem is, for me, the biggest feature of this game is the wild area. Now, the wild area looks good. There'll be a picture here showing you how the wild area looks. A couple of little pictures. But it doesn't look like this. Now, I know this is Breath of the Wild you're looking at right now, but for me, Breath of the Wild is an example of the Switch being pushed to its capabilities. Now, with past Pokemon games like Diamond, Pearl, I feel Game Freak in the DS era, even in the Game Boy era, they pushed the console further than anybody else. I feel like if you look at the Game Boy Pokemon games, if you look at DS games, 3DS games, they always made the system pushed further. Like for me, I think Sun and Moon is probably the best looking 3DS game. And Pokemon Sword isn't. It's not as good looking as I would have liked, and that is a slight issue. Now, in terms of battles, I think the battle animations are quite good. I think they deserve less hate than what they've been getting online. The battle animations, you have got a problem where some characters disappear. Like if the attack has got a lot of particles, a lot of things to render, the trainer will just disappear. Just bloop. But it's not even like a smooth animation where they slide off the side like Sun and Moon. In Sun and Moon, the trainer would slide off to the left, I believe. Is that your left? Am I right, your left? I don't know. But anyway, I believe they'd slide off to the side in Sun and Moon. In this game, they don't. And for a game this big, they had the possibility to do that. And they didn't. Yeah, it's not ideal. It's not... You know, for me, the battle animations, apart from that, are really good. I like the new battle animations for attacks. But then, talking of battling, lots of attacks have been taken out. And lots of important attacks for, like, competitive battling. Lots of important Pokemon for competitive battling have been dropped as well. And my favourite Pokemon, Donphan and Heracross, are both gone. Which I'm sad about, because they're my favourites. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the best bit of Pokemon is you can have your favourite Pokemon and you can play through and you can battle with them, and I can't do that in Sword and Shield. Like, I've got Donphan and Heracross tattooed on my leg and I can't use them. So that's not ideal at all. Other problems with the game. The story, I'm going to stick up for the story. Lots of people are criticising the story. I think the story is one of the better ones in Pokemon games. I'm not going to spoil it for anyone. I'm going to try and keep this as spoiler-free as I can. For me, the story is probably one of the best ones in Pokemon games, though. Being genuine. I like the story, I like the development. Hop is a bit of a copy and paste of Hal, especially with his animations like jumping up and stuff. Maybe they could have given him a new lease of life. He's not too bad as a rival. He's annoying, but then he's supposed to be. That's the point of a rival. Like I'm a Liverpool fan. I'm supposed to be irritated by Man United. It's kind of like the way that rivals work. Your rivals annoy you. So I actually like the fact he's annoying. Some people are criticising him how much he goes on about how the champion is undefeated, because the champion is undefeated, which is the story of every Pokemon game ever, though, that the champion's undefeated. No one can beat him. But yeah, it's a decent game. It is genuinely a decent game. Other problems, though, is online. The online features are shoddy. They're really bad. Online trading is not as good as it was on like the 2DS. Not even the 2DS, the DS. Do you know what I mean? For me, I think it was probably Black and White had the system right. I don't know how it's possible to make this online features worse than they were on Nintendo DS. One thing I do hate is you can play in the wild area with your friends, which is one of the big features that Nintendo and Game Freak have been hyping up, and you can't. Well, you can play in the wild area with your friends, but you can't exclude people who aren't your friends, which is obviously, I get why Nintendo's done it. It's so kids that don't have any like friends on their Switch, or even adults that don't have any friends, they've got people to play with. But for me, I want to be able to play with my friends and no one else. I don't know how you feel about that, but I want to be able to go in the wild area with you know, like the guys who I talk to all the time about Pokemon, like Bandproof, obviously my older brother. Very rare. I want to be able to go into the wild area with these boys and their pals and our pals, not random people. Do you know what I mean? I want that exclusivity of it being just people who I know, and that isn't there. So for me, that's a massive drawback of this game. It should be, it could be rectified. I think the online stuff, maybe in a post update, they could touch up. The graphics and stuff they couldn't really fix. But I do want to say, I absolutely loved it still, right? Even with those problems, and they are the only real problems I've noticed. Some of the cities are a bit empty, like you can't go into some of the houses. They've got like locked doors, when they could have just copy and pasted another house inside. That house would have been better than nothing being in there. I don't think inside any of the houses in this game is actually that interesting. Nothing jumps out at me as being like a memorable experience when I've gone in anyone's houses. It's just a little bit empty in a lot of places for me. I feel Game Freak has tried to get this game out for Christmas, right? I genuinely do. I think they've gone, right, we're releasing this for Christmas. We're gonna make that happen no matter what happens, no matter what we have to cut, no matter what we have to say. Oh, sorry about that. We are going to get this game out for Christmas. And for me, that's a problem, because they've not lived up to the quality that Game Freak always has made in the past. As well, Little Town Hero, half the developers are working on that. Now, I don't know if that's a problem. I don't know if that's contributed to things like the textures, which aren't of the quality that I expect of Game Freak. I don't know if things like Little Town Hero for me actually looks better probably than Pokemon. So how has that happened? I think it's just one of those ones where obviously Pokemon is the most profitable game franchise in the world. It always will be, because people buy stuff like this. You know what I mean? Just because we can, and stuff like this. We just buy the merch if we love it. But yeah, it's a bit disappointing. I completed it about 6 hours before recording this, and then I've then played online and a little bit of the post game and stuff, because I want to get fully into it before I give you a review. I loved it, right? But it's just a little bit missing. It's just that it's got all the Pokemon magic, you know, like all that love of Pokemon and everything is there for me, but it's just that little bit of finesse. A little bit of finesse, which for me is what made Breath of the Wild the first game to rival Ocarina of Time. Because Ocarina of Time, for its time, there was nothing that good. There was nothing that looked like that. There was nothing that played like that. Nothing that felt that open. And Breath of the Wild, for me, in terms of Nintendo consoles, there was nothing that was as open as Breath of the Wild. Nothing as good as Breath of the Wild. And I think Game Freak had a chance here. And they didn't take it. Because I think in terms of handhelds, like I say, Pokemon has always had that encapsulating, complete sort of finesse, and the games have always felt massive. Like every region, like Kanto, felt massive. I would even say Let's Go, Kanto on Let's Go feels bigger and more filled out than Sword and Shield. Even though it hasn't got like a wild area and stuff, it feels bigger. And the cities feeling. Now, a couple of the cities in Sword are really good. A couple of the cities are really good and they're really nice. But a lot of them is a Pokemon Center, one house and a gym that you can actually go in. Doing the Charizard pose by accident there. But yeah, it's not the game I wanted it to be. Although I loved it still, guys. I don't want to try and hide that. I loved this game so much. Working out a score out of 10 has been the hardest thing. I've been debating this literally for hours now. Because it is a fantastic game, and I would urge anyone, if you like Pokemon, buy it. You're going to enjoy it. It took me about 18 hours to complete it. So just bear that in mind. It's not the longest game, but if you like Pokemon, I do urge you, go buy it. If you've got a Switch, if you haven't got a Switch, maybe think about getting the Switch as well, because you can get that, you can get Let's Go, get Breath of the Wild. That's the best game, maybe apart from Ocarina. It's tight, it's close. But yeah, so in terms of a score out of 10, I am going to give Pokemon Sword and Shield, I don't know. I've decided. I'm going to give it a 7.5. No, I'm not. I'm going to give it an 8. You can have an 8, alright? You can have an 8 just because of the elephant. I really... it didn't feel to me. It's a hard score to give because I don't want to start doing halves on the channel. I've took the mickey out of other people that do halves in the past on the channel. But it's not, for me, it's not a 9, it's not a 10, it's not perfect, it's not near to perfect. But then, like, if it wasn't if it didn't have all the joy and charm of Pokemon, the game would probably get a 6. But because it's got sort of like the charm and the fun of Pokemon, nostalgia, it gets itself up to an 8 off that sort of Pokemon factor. So yeah, thank you all for watching today. Drop a comment down below with who you're starting Pokemon with. Is it Grookey, Scorbunny, Subble? Who you're using, guys? If you want to see more Switch reviews, let us know as well. I don't really do many of them on the channel because I don't have like capture card and stuff, so I can't stream it. But yeah, if you want more Switch reviews, do let me know, and I'll see you real soon. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. If you've enjoyed that, you can click up here and you can watch another video of mine. Or if you really love it, if you really love it, or even if you just like it a little bit, go down here and subscribe to the channel. It means you'll never ever miss what is coming up real soon.